and welcome to Tom Talk Shop. Today we're going to make this piece of shiplap beadboard, and I'm going to go through the whole thing, and then at the very end I've got one or two little tips and tricks I'll also give to watch to the end. If you enjoy our content and aren't subscribed, sure like it if you do, and if you enjoyed the video, please give us a like. Thank you very much. Now I've already roughed out my shiplap on the table saw, and I've planed. These are basically fence boards, but I planed them down to 11/16, or 3/4 would be interchangeable, but these are 11/16, and I roughed in a shiplap that I'll clean up. So I'm just going to zip through all the basic steps and show you how we do it here in the shop. So the first thing I'm going to do is, this is my showing face that shows. I'm going to just take and kind of go over it with a smoothing plane just to take the power plane marks off. Our power plane does not do a good job. And also, this is going in furniture in a cabinet. I want it to look like it's been hand planed at least a little bit. So I'm just taking a light little bit off. Plus it actually looks a lot better. You don't see all the machine marks on it now. If I was only making just one or two of these, I'd probably just do it all by hand, but we've got a big stack of these we're making over the next couple days. And I needed to save my shoulder a little bit with doing what really counts. And that's pretty good. Now, I also take my rabbit plane and clean up the rabbits too, because all I do is just cut out a step rabbit in these, and it's usually not very clean on the body. Just gets rid of most of the waste. And this particular piece of fence board isn't very flat. Make my life a little easier. Now, if this had all been done by hand, you skip these first two steps. And if you're working with 3/4 or any other material, I basically just split the difference. These are roughly half and half going both ways. So whatever your thickness is, it's not really that important. Just as long as your bead doesn't cut too deep in if it's real thin. I've made this same stuff 5/8 too. So next I'm going to use a 1/2-inch side bead plane. You could use a Stanley 55 for this, or something like that would work good too. Veritas makes something, as do other people. And actually, I just use the side bead for marking the cut. This plane doesn't cut deep real well. I need to regrind the blade, but it gives me a good line to use my center bead. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and just use a 1/2-inch center bead, and I'm going to go ahead and start finishing up the bead. Got a knot right here at the end. Always makes everything more fun. All right, I got past that, and I'm just going to keep making my way down. If your plane clogs up doing this, just have a tool to clean it out. This thing clogs constantly, especially on this poor quality wood. And I just make my way down with the bead. Got a couple of little problems on this one, not bad. And I'm just going to make my way down, working past my one little problem I've got here. Trying not to jump out of the track here. if you have a plane that likes to do this, don't feel special. I have 2 or 3 that are real bad about it. This is one of them. All right, and I'm just gonna take one final pass to make sure I got everything. There we go, we're good with that. Now, okay, I'm gonna use the number 4 hollow, and I'm just going to dress in this inner edge here. So I just take it and pretty close to, I don't know, 25, 30 degrees. It just rides against this edge. You can use a number 2 up to a number 6. It's just whatever you've got and whatever works. And I just make my way down. You want to make sure you keep this plane really sharp. These hollows seem to be more affected by sharp or dull than some of the others. Now, and I just clean that up all the way down, and then I'm pretty much all done with the inside side of the bead. Okay, now I've got 2 more steps to do to finish up. First, what I'm going to do is flip it over and just quickly clean my rabbit out. And this one needs quite a bit. Okay, now that that's done, all I'm going to do is flip it end over end here and do my final step here. I'm just going to take my number 4 hollow, and I'm going to repeat on this side so that we get a nice edge going into the next piece. And here I've got a knot, so I'm going to kind of get rid of a little bit of the knotty wood before we even start. That should help. That looks like the only one that matters. And right here at the end, I got to turn around and go the other way. All right, and that is the completed piece minus a little bit of touch-up sanding. Okay, you have what, in other words, would be an okay piece of trim wood, but you've got an awful knot right in the middle of it, and well, you don't want to plow through this knot with your plane. I can tell you it's kind of hard on the little edges on your blade. So there's a number of ways you can do it. You can try to cut it away with a knife or something. That's pretty slow. It takes a long time. What I've found, and actually I made a saw just for doing this, but you can do it with one of these. I can't remember what the name. These things sort of work. And any saw that'll cut down like a back saw will work, but this one I made specifically for this kind of a job. So what I do is I've already cut my bead into here, and I've kind of didn't want to get any closer till I got this loosened up. So what I just do is I take the saw, and I'll kind of scratch it going backwards first and then start making the cut. I just cut through the knot and a little bit. Sometimes you have to do it twice. And if you part it, the plane will usually be able to do most of the rest. And that saves a lot of wear and tear on your sharpening on your plane, which is a lot of work on the plane blades themselves. Let me get a little bit of that out of there too. That's a lot harder than the surrounding woods. Yeah, they always, in woodworking video, they always show you the best looking wood. Well, we don't always have the best looking woods to work with. All right, let's give that a try and see if that'll cut. So So now I just continue on like I was up to it, kind of. Then usually I get on the back side of it and start the groove. Sometimes I have to get fairly far back. And then you kind of can carefully power through it. Don't put a lot of down weight on it. If you're not getting enough, then you might need to cut a little bit more away from it. Looks like I did enough. And yep, that's going to work. So now a little bit chipped out there, but it's a whole lot better than nothing. And you know what? That's the joys of working with hand tools. It looks like somebody's hands touched it. So now I got through that knot, and I can use this whole piece of wood without having to cut around that. And now I can just go ahead and finish the rest of the groove. And I hope you found that tip helpful.